Hello, I've finished another Netgalley book, and this one is The Blue Book of Nebo by Manon Stefan Ross. And when I picked it up, I suppose I should have done, I didn't realise that it was a dystopian. If the blurb gives me the clue that it is a dystopian, but I just didn't realise that it was going to be what it was. And it is the story of Rowena and Dylan. Rowena and her son Dylan. And we meet them 7 years after the end. And they're on a hilltop cottage near Nebo in Wales. And totally isolated. And they're the only people there. And because there is no electricity, society, everything has come to an end. They seem to be the only people alive. And they find, when they're going into Nebo and going into houses and finding stuff, they find a notebook, a blue notebook, and Rowena decides that her and Dylan are going to write their thoughts, so that if anyone finding this book, if there is anybody to find this book, they will see what their lives are like. Dylan, who at this point is about 14, 15, I think, he was 8 when the end came. So he doesn't really remember anything before the end. So he writes about his life now, whereas Rowena, she writes about the life she had before the end. We don't actually know what the end was, and that's deliberate, I think, because the characters Rowena and Dylan do not know what happened, and so as readers we don't know what happened either. The characters don't know, we don't know. So I think that is a deliberate thing. But it started when suddenly the electric went off. And maybe there was a warning. Maybe Rowena knew that something was bubbling away. Because what she did is she went out that afternoon and she panic bought almost. She went and filled up her car with everything that she thought they could possibly need. And they became self-sufficient. Dylan, as an 8-year-old, he grew up. He learned to almost be the man of the house. He started gardening. They grew everything they needed. And it's a life that they were very, very comfortable with. I forgot to mention there's also a little toddler, Mona, about 2-year-old. And we don't know an awful lot about Mona. Dylan doesn't ask his mother where Mona came from, because Mona arrived after the end. So Mona is Rowena's secret, and both characters have secrets, and the secrets are told in the book, the Blue Book of Nebo, and they make a pact that they will not read each other's entries. And they have returned to the old ways because there is nothing left anymore. So there's no structure to society. You know, they grow everything. They're self-sufficient, and it is a life that they both seem to enjoy. They've got a house full of books. Dylan has taught himself through reading, and Rowena has gone back to learn old skills. And the ending is very profound, and you're not quite sure what will happen to these two characters at the end. It is classed as a young adult novel, but there are a couple of harrowing bits in there that would make it is easily a book for adults as well. And it is a dystopian one, but it's not like the dystopian ones that I've read before, where you are faced with sort of the horrors of the dystopian world. This is a dystopian world where you've got two characters making their own way and being very comfortable with the life that they've got. And it's another one that I enjoyed. So this one comes out in January next year. It did come out, I think I'm right, it is originally Welsh. It won the 2019 prize in Wales, and it is now coming out in translation. So although it's going to be new to English speakers, Welsh readers have already had it ages ago. And yes, pick it up if you like a bit of dystopian, if you like a book about characters where the characters really speak to you. Comes out in January, so yeah, look for it. So happy reading, take care.